Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're doing an explainer on something absolutely beautiful, taking a visually rich and deeply emotional journey right into the heart of Rajasthan. It's a land that's globally famous for these incredibly vibrant, colorful clothes against sun-baked sands, sweeping desert landscapes, and just the rhythmic echo of ancient folk traditions. Well, today we're diving into a really evocative piece of source material, a poem known as the Jamaro Kavita. Through the lens of this remarkable text, we're going to explore the shifting landscapes of traditional culture and look at how the sheer march of modernity has completely transformed the very spaces we call home. So get ready, because we're about to experience the echoes of the changing hearth. Okay, let's dive right into this. Before we even look at the poetry itself, we absolutely have to understand our title. Like, what exactly is a Jamaro? It's a traditional Marwari term from Rajasthan, but it doesn't just mean a flat, boring period of time on a calendar. It actually encapsulates an entire era, a lifetime, or a specific generation's complete way of living and being. It's the cultural rhythm, the values, literally the heartbeat of a whole generation. I really want you to keep that encompassing definition in mind as we move forward and explore how this rhythm has, well, completely transformed over time. So that brings us to our first major theme. Jamaro, a changing era. The poet uses this really stark, incredibly powerful narrative structure throughout the whole text. Every single observation is framed as a direct juxtaposition between before and today, which leads us perfectly into section 1, from the courtyard to the balcony. Picture a traditional Rajasthani home for a second. You've got these wide, open, sunlit courtyards, literally the absolute center of family life. In the past, you'd see a twinkling earthen diya placed so carefully near the sacred tulsi plant, casting this incredibly warm, inviting glow against the rustic architecture at dusk. It was all about spirituality, a grounding evening ritual, and this deep open connection to nature and faith. But today? Well, today, that open spiritual space has been traded for the isolated, sterile hum of a modern AC unit. The poet observes that we've essentially traded the warm, communal glow of the open courtyard for a cool, mechanical chill on a cramped, enclosed apartment balcony. Now, before we look at the next beautiful contrast, here's another essential cultural term to quickly ground us: tabar. In traditional Rajasthan, tabar is this gorgeous term of endearment for a child. It's a word that inherently carries a deep, deep sense of warmth, innocence, and just fierce familial love. And what's really interesting about this next slide is the emotional shift. Back in the day, these tabars would peacefully fall asleep right in their grandma's lap, absorbing culture, morality, and generational love through these ancient folk tales. There was physical touch, shared imagination, and a vital passing down of heritage. Today, the physical proximity is still there, sure, but the connection is completely fractured. Kids just sit there mesmerized by flashy YouTube cartoons on glowing screens, while mothers, sitting right beside them, are just entirely lost in endlessly scrolling through their digital feeds. That rich generational connection has basically been replaced by simultaneous digital isolation. Moving right along to section 2, fields, letters, and technology. As we move out from the domestic sphere and into the wider community, notice how the pacing of life just completely accelerates. Think about how differently we communicate today. A traditional handwritten letter used to be a major event. The postman arrived, and the whole village would literally buzz with excitement, sharing in the collective joy and anticipation. Contrast that with today's reality, a WhatsApp message left on scene. You know the person on the other end read it, but it's met with silent, immediate dismissal. The poet is really asking us to look at our own modern habits here, contrasting the village-wide excitement of a single piece of paper with the emotional emptiness of instant messaging. So, the crucial point here is how this modernization has entirely shifted traditional livelihoods. It starts out with fathers singing these vibrant folk songs while joyfully working lush ancestral fields, right? They felt a deep sense of heritage and connection to the earth. But then comes the inevitable shift. Those very same ancestral fields are sold to chase the promise of modernity. And this leads to buying small, fragmented urban plots, and ultimately becoming trapped in a relentless cycle of constantly paying EMIs, endless financial installments. The traditional rural joy has literally been sold off, completely replaced by modern financial burdens, concrete walls, and just endless economic stress. And this new urban stress completely changes how we relate to the people physically closest to us. If hardship or grief struck a traditional family, neighbors would rush to help. Totally uninvited, they just showed up because your pain was fundamentally their pain. Today, in stark contrast, we share apartment walls with people, but we don't even know their names.
I really invite you to reflect on that for a second in the context of your own life. In our hyper-connected world, how many of your immediate neighbors could you actually call on in a real emergency? Which leads us to Section 3, the impact and essence of technology. We've seen the symptoms of the shift in the home, out in the fields, and within the community. And this brilliantly illustrates a core paradox. The poet totally acknowledges the undeniable progress here. Technology is growing exponentially. We literally hold the entire world in our fists with our smartphones. We have unprecedented power, speed, and global reach. But the heavy cost is that our heartstrings are loosening. That profound feeling of belonging, of genuine human empathy and cultural connection is slowly fading away. The source material is arguing that while we've gained the entire world in our hands, we're losing our emotional and communal anchor. The poet beautifully and respectfully summarizes this entire cultural shift with an incredibly poignant observation. Hey Jamaro, tu te sto he, per tar swad biddlegeo, monasto monasumile, ber mun koni milpeo. Meaning, oh Jamaro, you are fast, but your taste has changed. Humans mate humans, but hearts don't meet. Wow. Just let that deeply resonate for a moment. This modern era, this new Jamaro, is undeniably fast-paced and highly efficient, but it's lost its distinct, warm cultural flavor. We interact with more humans in a single day than our ancestors did in a month, and yet, at the end of the day, our hearts simply don't connect the way they used to in those open courtyards. Which leads us directly to our final slide, and a critical, truly powerful question I want to leave you with today. Have we distanced ourselves from our loved ones just to connect with the world? As we navigate our own Jamaro, our own incredibly fast-paced modern era, it is deeply worth reflecting on the changing hearths in our own lives. Are we sacrificing the warmth of the people right next to us for the cold glow of the world in our pockets? Thank you so much for exploring this profound piece of culture and poetry with me today. Keep learning, keep reflecting on what truly matters, and I'll see you in the next explainer.